Hello, beautiful people, and welcome. Hi, I want you to know, your life can be separated into two parts, pre-Varka and post-Varka, and we have collectively entered the post-Varka phase of our life. Welcome to the first impressions video on Varka after a day and a half, I guess, of testing. He has changed my life, and by that, I mean, I was a happy boy. I was an enthusiastic and optimistic individual, and then Varka was released, and now I hate my life. You know, I never actually noticed it before today, but the grass really is greener on the other side. This sucks, actually. Varka is pretty much exactly as expected. I've tested him on 2 accounts. I didn't end up getting him on my account. I'm pretty sure I'm not gonna get him, unfortunately. A lot of this testing was focused on min-maxing the combos, not because you need to, or because it's that impactful, just because min-maxing the combos, I can just stay in my bubble, like, okay, this combo is like 2% better, 3% worse, it's fine. Oh, new combo, good, cool. Once I start testing teams, I have to compare them to other teams. And that's when I start getting upset, if you followed any of the pre-release cycle for him. Varka's not great, he's not awful, like he's playable, but for a unit release in 2026, he's so far behind the other recent characters that it's gonna be difficult to make him work. Now, obviously, he's getting a Stygian boss dispatch that's gonna make him feel acceptable. You know, before Varka's release, I was talking about how getting Varka's Sig and playing Razor carry is gonna give you better results than getting Varka. If you only want to get one 5-star, Varka's Sig is better for your Varka's team DPS than Varka is. And yeah, I mean, my testing does seem to align with that. I talked about how his best team at C0 was gonna be Bineffa, and yeah, my testing also seems to align with that. If you really like Varka and you want to get him no matter what, there is a silver lining, which is that I've come to realize after a lot of Varka testing that honestly his whole team is full of frauds. Venti is a fraud, Durin is a fraud, and Bennett is like the least fraudulent, but he's also like a half fraud just because he doesn't synergize with the other frauds on the team. So what do I mean by Venti is a fraud and Durin is a fraud? Varka isn't gated by cooldowns. His skill cooldown is 16 seconds, and that's shorter than pretty much every support you want to use with him. And with Animal Resonance, it's basically 15 seconds. So you can do reliable, like, sub 16 second rotation, like around 15 to 16, if your supports have short animations. In other words, the gain from 5-star characters that are powerful but also have long animations that extend your rotations is mitigated, and it's not as meaningful as you would expect if you just compare the value of the buffs. And that's a big problem with Durin, because Varka by default already forces you to run a second animal unit, right? His passive that gives you times 2.2 on basically all of his damage except the burst, which you don't use, so it basically is all of his damage, needs a second animal in the party, and Varka is doing a lot of non-animal damage, so you have a pretty strong incentive to be bringing VV already. But that means you already have a bunch of shred, which makes the value of getting more shred a little bit less impactful. It doesn't matter quite as much. It's still not bad, but comparatively, it's doing a lot less than if you didn't already have VV. In other words, the portion of Durin's value that's provided through the res shred is lower. And that's the only buff Durin provides. Other than that, it's all personal damage. But honestly, the teams that you're using here don't really have buffs to the off-field characters. Bennett doesn't buff the off-field character. Venti, the VV does, I suppose, but that's it. Which means that Durin's off-field damage is also not that high compared to teams that get more off-field buffs, like Overload teams that have Showers, with a 40% and a little bit of uptime on her C6 if you have that. I want to make it clear, I'm not saying that Durin is not the best, is not part of Varka's best team right now, but the idea I want to bring forward here is that he's not that far ahead of the competition, and he's really replaceable. That's the case for Venti too. Venti has a similar issue where, you know, again, long animation, it extends your rotations, and also long animation on your animal unit means you have to choose, am I using a long animation after Bennett and losing Bennett buff uptime on Varka, or am I using it before Bennett and losing VV uptime on Varka? And both options feel awful. This has led to a situation where, I mean, you're gonna see that when you watch the clips of my testing, where the difference between Varka's full premium team and Varka with only 4-star supports that don't even have the best synergy with him is just smaller than the difference between Serpent Spine and Sig. Much smaller, actually. And that just kind of feels bad. But the silver lining is that if every character in his team is a fraud, that means that every character in his team is replaceable if we end up getting stronger characters in the future. Is that something you should be banking on? No. If you mainly care about getting a strong character, do not get Varka. That's a bad idea. But if you like Varka and you're asking yourself, okay, well, I want to play Varka. I want to actually be playing him for a long time. I like him a lot. Maybe you don't care that much about getting Fearless clears. All you care about is being able to do Abyss. Or maybe you do care about getting Fearless and you're willing to go for like for R1 or something like that. I would recommend pumping the brakes when it comes to getting other characters that go on his teams, getting Venti, getting Durin. We've heard through the grapevine for a while now that Nicole is supposed to be part of Varka's premium team. I would wait until we see what Nicole does and how important it is to have Durin if you have Nicole already or something like that. But yeah, I'm gonna leave you guys with the testing, and I will see you guys for the outro. We didn't crit. Of course we didn't crit. Of course we didn't crit. Okay.
Stay back. The story has. I'm going in. Here we go. Time for takeoff. Up the ante. Thunder. Watch out. Decay. Let's light it up. Teamwork is. Yahoo! Think you can get away?
No, we didn't crit.
Thunder!
Stop right, teamwork is trademark. Stand clear. Enhanced enemy.
Off the ante! Thunder!
Final warning. Everybody stand.
Off the ante! Off the ante!
Stop right there. I'm going in. Absorption test.
Thunder!
Drop your weapon. Let's light it up. Teamwork is stand clear.
Thunder! Off the ante!
Final warning. I'm going in. Absorption test.
Off the ante! Off the ante!
Stop right there. Let's light it up. Everybody stand clear.
I f***ed it up at the end there.
Off the ante! Off the ante!
Drop your everybody stand back. Let's play. Think you can get away?
Off the ante!
Teamwork is brace yourselves. Time for takeoff.
Thunder!
I'm going in. Yahoo! Think you can get away?
Off the ante! Thunder!
Stop right there. Everybody stand back.
Bye! My
Time
swap
for
didn't work.
takeoff.
Off the ante!
Drop your weapon. Teamwork is trademark. Think you can get away?
Off the ante! Off the ante!
Stop right there. Everybody stand back. Brace yourselves. Time for take.
Off the ante!
Final four. Teamwork
I guess I kind of want to check. Is the damage higher if we do use the burst?
Transfiguration. Cryo time for takeoff.
Freeze!
I guess it is, right?
Thunder!
A little amuse. Take your truth. Let's play. Think you can get away?
Freeze! Thunder!
But this is D2, right?
Off to the breach. Transfiguration. Do your masters. Brace yourself. Time for takeoff.
Freeze! Thunder! Thunder!
And like at C2 Shenhe, the burst is like
Think you can get away?
Freeze!
3% DPS increase.
The ante!
So at C0, it's probably a DPS loss.
Your true form. Cryo in Let's play. Time for takeoff.
That's not what I wanted to do.
Off to the freezer.
But yeah.
Converge. Preparing for dust up.
Up the ante!
Bring it. Installation chamber. Wait. Hear the echoes of the valley. A moonlit night for all. Ultimatum protocol. Cleanup sequence.
Yeah. Remembering to swap and refresh the instructor is kind of making a big difference here. So we're getting almost the same damage, even without the fractured halo.
Annihilation mode.
Up the ante!
Defensive mode engaged. A moonlit night for all. Wait.
Wait, we're getting more damage. Wait, doing the right rotations is broken? What the f?
Bring it.
Chad, did you know that when you do your rotations right instead of wrong, you get more DPS? Because you might not have known that.
Let's play. Think you can get away? Here we go.
Decay! New life!
Yahoo! Time for takeoff. Teamwork is dreamwork.
Up the ante! Up the ante! Watch out! The story has only just...
Brace yourself. I'm going in. Think you can get away?
Up the ante! Thunder! Watch out! The story
Okay.
has only just...
Here we go. Time for
Oh no. Oh, that's not. It's fine. The animal damage will get through it.
Thunder! Thunder!
Varka's animo damage will get us through this. I believe.
I'm going in.
I have to do the full N5 now, right?
Thunder! Up the ante!
Okay. This is gonna be fun.
Stay back! Story has only...
Teamwork is trick. Think you can get away?
Up the ante!
Yeah, this is a bad break point, actually. But at least we're keeping them grouped thanks
Brace
to
yourself. Time for takeoff.
Venti. And we're keeping them staggered with Varka. This is not that bad.
Watch out! The story has only just...
Teamwork is trick. Yahoo! Think you can get away?
Eee, that's bad.
Up the ante! Up the ante! Huh? Stay back! Decay!
I'm going in. Let's play. Time for takeoff.
Fuck.
Up the ante! Up the ante! Stay back! The story has only just...
Everybody stand. Brace. Think you
I
can
didn't get my
away?
E.
Yahoo!
Thunder!
Oh, I saw the thing light up. We could have had the last skill there, or the third skill, but I wasn't spamming E.
Stay back! Turning...
Teamwork is trick. Here we go. Time for takeoff.
A worthy
Okay.
adversary.
Or maybe not. That's fine, I guess.
Up the ante! On me. Up the ante!
Fine, whatever. Just
The turning point.
Everybody stand. Brace yourselves. Think you can get away?
fuck. I wanted to kill it with a burst.
Turning point in space.
I'm going in. Absorption test. Enhancement.
Thunder! Thunder! A turning point in space.
Teamwork is trick. Stay clear.
Thunder! Decay! New life!
Going in. Animal hypostasis.
Thunder! Up the ante! A turning point.
I think I'm saying a little bit too long on him now.
Up the ante!
Yeah, it would actually be really nice to have the ER to burst every rotation on Sugos now, but that's kind of hard to reach. Yeah, we're at like around 105k with this, and we can compare it to what we get to with wolves.
Everybody stand back. Animal test 6308.
He... Okay, we dashed into it at least, but...
Let's light it up. Going in. Absorption test.
Up the ante! Leave it to me. The story has only just...
Teamwork is trademark. Enhanced animal life.
Up the ante! Thunder!
We missed the crit. That's unlucky.
Let's light it up. Going in.
It's around 80k. We're using Signal. Right now, we're looking at Wolves, and we're going to compare it to Razor with his Sig.
Stop right there.
Decay! New life!
Teamwork is trademark.
Get back! Decay! New life!
Going in. Final warning.
Decay! New life!
Everybody stand back.
So we are getting higher with Varka Sig on Razor than non-Sig Varka.
Get back!
Stop right there.
The story has only just begun!
I'm going in.
Get back!
Final warning.
Decay! New life!
Everybody stand back. Stop right there.
Decay! New life!
Teamwork is trademark.
Get back! Story has only just...
What gauntlet did you use on Varka? I used literally the same gear on both of them. Oops. That was pretty bad.
Drop your weapons.
Turning point in fate!
Teamwork is trademark. Stop right there.
Decay! New life!
I'm going in.
Get back! A turning point in fate!
Teamwork is trademark.
What am I doing?
Final warning.
Decay! New life!
I'm going in.
Although, one thing is, in this team, we generate more pyro particles, so during the aura requirements are lower, and we don't need to have a ton of extra particles for Bennett Burst. So we probably could just outright put Durin on a damage weapon instead of Fav without changing any other builds and still have the energy. Yeah, so we were stable at around 85k. Let's see what we stabilize at after a lot of rotations, because it's kind of weird for the first rotation with TDDS and Durin uptime.
Decay. New life.
Everybody stand back. Let's Animo test 6308.
That was not what I wanted to do.
Decay. New life.
Teamwork is dreamwork.
Up the ante. Decay. New life. Leave it.
Let's light it up. Everybody stand back. Absorption test. Enhance.
Thunder. Thunder. A turning point in space.
I'm going in.
Up the ante. Up the ante. Decay. New life. Leave it.
Everybody stand back. Stand clear. Swirl.
Up the ante. A turning point
Okay,
in
we reached 20k on the TDDS rotation there.
Going in. Absorption test.
Yeah, I think we kind of got cooked a little there.
thunder. The story has only just begun. Leave it.
Teamwork is dreamwork. Animo hypostasis.
That's fine.
Thunder. Thunder. The story has only just begun.
Let's light it up. I'm going in. Animo test 6308.
Up the ante. The story has only just begun. Watch out.
Everybody stand back. Absorption test. Swirl.
Thunder. Up the ante.
Ooh, that's not good.
Turning point in
I'm going in. Animo test 6308.
Up the ante. Up the ante.
Yeah. Sig Razor seems indeed fairly similar to non-Sig Varka. Razor isn't crowned, but like Varka doesn't have Venti and is on Wolf's Gravestone. I still haven't tested Hydro. Is it time to finally test Hydro?
Time to shine. Animo test 6308. Rest and rebuild.
Up the ante. Up the ante.
Yoo-hoo! Let my name echo in some absorption test. Animo hypostasis.
Thunder. Thunder.
Shower me with praise. Time to shine. Animo test 6308. Enhanced animo mod. Hold the line.
Okay, it's not actually healing enough. Right around 61k.
Let my name echo in song. Shadows of fate, decided by destiny. Yeah, stand clear. Enhanced cannon will.
Thunder! Thunder!
Let the world come alive. Written in the stars.
I...
Thunder! Thunder!
Shower me with praise. Time to shine. Let me scribe. Decided by destiny. Yeah, Animo test 6308.
Up the ante!
Yoo-hoo! Let my name echo in shadows of fate, written in the stars.
Thunder!
Shower me with praise. Let the world come alive. Let me scribe. Decided by destiny. Stand clear. Enhanced cannon will.
Thunder!
whatever. This kind of sucks.
Let the world come alive.
Game's up. Fun's over.
Yeah!
Make way for the adept.
Yoo-hoo! Let my name echo in
Gotcha.
shower me with praise. Time to shine.
Here comes the catch. Busted.
Yeah! Skyward!
Seize
Did I not proc the fucking 5?
Thunder!
Yoo-hoo! Let the world come alive.
quietly now. Game's up. Fun's over.
Yeah!
Make way for the
I'm probably not supposed to do any charge attacks, actually. It costs too much Yalon stuff.
Let my name echo in song.
busted. Things are about to get dicey.
Yeah! Skyward!
Seize the skies.
Thunder!
Shower me with praise. Let the world come alive.
Quietly now. Here comes the catch.
Stray clouds converge! Thunder!
about to get dicey. Yeah, skyward! Make way for the attack!
What am I doing?
Thunder!
Yeah.
Off to the breach. Absorption test. Animal hyper. Merciless. Paradigm shift.
Off the ante! Off the ante!
Adaptive frosting. Animal test 6303. Fearless. Into the void.
Off the ante! Thunder!
A little boost boost. Swirl. Mark tip. Merciless. And never star goes out.
Free!
You know what?
Off the ante! Off the ante!
I should probably do slightly shorter rotations
Merciless.
so I can get more skirt damage. But let's not do charge attacks. Fuck.
Off the ante!
Animal test 6308. Fearless. Paradigm shift.
Free! Thunder! Thunder!
A little boost boost. Absorption test. Fearless. And never star goes out.
Thunder!
Adaptive frost. Stay clear. Animal hyper. Fearless. Into the void.
Free! Thunder!
Absorption test. Fearless. Paradigm shift.
Free! Off the ante!
Off to the freezer. Stay clear. Swirl. Mark. Fearless. And never star goes out.
Off the ante! Off the ante!
Adaptive frosting. Absorption test.
Yeah, so we're pretty stable at like 71, 72.
Thunder!
Yeah. Submit this abomination to the DPS guesser. And keep a void rift on screen. Wait, you're so right. Wait, that would be wait. You're actually cooking like crazy right now. Wait, chat. I think I have a great cook idea.
Enhanced animal module. Headbutt. Time to roll. Here I
Okay, well that was
Animal test 6308.
Thunder!
Start them.
okay. I don't know about that actually.
Headbutt. Here I coming.
Okay, I might have cooked too close to the sun actually. So, I didn't test every single thing I wanted to test yet. I still haven't figured out a way to make the reactions line up for Meld Varka in a way that doesn't feel awful. I might try to do that in the coming days. And we can quickly talk about the non-premium options for Varka. Cryo, Hydro, Electro. Honestly, if you were watching the testing that I was doing on the account where I'm on right now, the one that has Wolf's Gravestone, remember that Wolf's Gravestone is a more meaningful, or is a better weapon happen if you're not playing Bena and you're not playing a bunch of attack buffers. You're not getting Pyro Resonance and stuff like that because, well, it's an attack weapon, so the stat is redundant if you already have a lot of attack. So the gap, if you're on Serpent's Spine, for example, would be bigger than what was showcased in the video or in the clips you've seen. From what I looked at, from what I've seen, the option that felt the next best after Pyro was Cryo. I haven't tried with Sarah because I didn't have a build Sarah on the accounts where I tried them so far, but I'm not too optimistic about Sarah anyways. So yeah, for the Cryo teams, you kind of just benefit from the good Cryo characters having short animations and cooldowns that don't extend your rotations. Like you're playing Escoffier, cooldown won't extend your rotation, the animation is really short. You don't have to burst if you don't have Farina on the team, right? Because it's a panic button if you need healing, but you don't need to put it in your rotation. And then if you're using Skirk, I mean, then that is a burst animation, but it's Skirk, so like it's justifiable anyways. If you're using something like Shenhe, you just don't use your burst, right? And it's basically like very short animations. If you're using Chongyun, also short animations, and even can make your rotations shorter with a cooldown reduction. Although I don't love Chongyun, honestly. The main issue that the premium Pyro team has, a lot of the Cryo teammates that you want to consider for Varka do not have. So it just makes things feel a bit less awkward. Even though, obviously, the synergy as a whole and the characters are a bit less powerful for Varka, a lot of the clunk being removed bridges the gap and makes it a lot less lopsided than it otherwise would have been. There's still a decent amount behind the Pyro teams, but if you have a very strong Varka, you'll be able to clear Cryo content with it. Hydro teams, honestly, I did not like. It just feels worse than just playing a double Hydro team. In the best teams for him, you're kind of better off putting him on VV and swapping to him to prog VV and then swapping out and having like something other than a second Animo on the last slot instead. Which just feels awful, like realizing that you'll probably get better results if you don't play the character that you're playing because you like them just feels bad. But the Hydro team functions, it's alright. The more damage you get from other characters, the better the team is going to perform because he doesn't have synergistic Hydro characters that work well with his teams. You're using Farina, it extends your rotation length, which isn't that big of a deal, but it is a bit annoying and forces you to bring a healer, and his healer options within Hydro and Animo are not good. Mona honestly just isn't that great because Varka's damage is a little bit backloaded because his skill is a little bit better to use than just his normal attacks and his charge attacks. Right, skill and the enhanced charge attack that replaces the skill. And those you have to like basically build up throughout your uptime. You're never getting both Mona buffed. Mona buff falls off mid-rotation. And then Electro, I don't know, man. The Electro stuff, it hasn't felt too great for me, but to be fair, the accounts I've tested on didn't have the best stuff, the best setup, so I guess jury's still out to some extent. Conclusion from day one testing of Varka, he's just as powerful as expected, which is to say, not very. In terms of how fun he is, he kind of feels clunky, honestly. Something you might have noticed from the footage is his charge attack, his default charge attack is pretty good to use. It's not necessary to use it if you're like low on stamina or something. He doesn't lose the same amount of damage as like Hu Tao would lose not using her charge attacks, but it is good to use if you know you can. The combo I've defaulted to after a bunch of testing has just been N2C spam. And one thing you might have noticed is if you input your special charge attack while you have it available, at the wrong time, you can end up losing the attack you're currently doing because it'll cancel it.
On me. Shrimp.
Right there, we got the Animo hit, but we didn't get the Electro hit that comes after. Other than that, the skill, in my opinion, kind of feels worse to use than the enhanced charge attack, but the enhanced charge attack is worse. So you're gonna have, like, if you want to play him optimally, you're gonna have to do the attack that feels bad. Because, like, this one feels good to use. I like it. Like, it's got a satisfying animation, and you're just supposed not to use it, which is quite unfortunate. If you have his signature weapon, the attack speed difference is actually pretty noticeable, but it's only really noticeable for long attack strings. If you do N2C, it doesn't feel as bad not to have Sig. So I don't think that aspect is that big of a deal. That's gonna do it for the first impressions. As much as Varka isn't the best unit, I have actually enjoyed testing him so far. Sometimes it's about finding happiness in the little things, and making fun of Varka together is fairly enjoyable. As usual, hope you enjoyed. Hope you learn a thing or two. Do the good old YouTube thing. Leave a like, comment, subscribe. And for your comment, I want you to insult Varka. That's what you should do in your comment. Tell him he's ugly. Tell him his Claymore's skin is honestly disgustingly ugly. Like, why would you ever use it? Tell him I don't know. I don't have the ability to slander Varka. I like him too much. I would never say anything negative about him, but I want to. So that's where you come in. I need your help in the comments. Anyways, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, YouTube.